Hello, I'm Wally. It's a chilly November day in Denver, and I'm here to talk about Bar Matzevah. And I'm really calling this or thinking of this as a practice video. I've never done this, never stood and talked about Bar Matzevah, both in general and also the process, the Bar Matzevah that I've been through. And so here it is, a brief video about Bar Matzevah. And where it came from, I'm now 72 years old, and I've had an opportunity, I would say even the privilege over the last few years to be involved with what they call senior citizens, people who are getting towards the aging process. And also at the same time, I've been feeling aging coming on in the sense of some physical things, some mental memory things, etc. So the whole idea of aging has been more present for me. And what I've seen also in a lot of people is aging comes along and just sort of happens. And I thought, well, at a bar mitzvah, when you're a youth, when you're young, and then you transition to having, say, more responsibility for mitzvot. So you go through a certain process and you have a bar mitzvah ceremony, and that's how that transition takes place. And I thought, well, it's missing that there isn't a similar transition period and ceremony moving from full, what you could call adulthood, career time, middle age, whatever it is, to transition over to aging. So that's what Bar Matzevah is really about, to create a point in life, and I think of it as being in the early 60s, where there's a transition period. It's not one day, although it's a ceremony if you wanted to have a ceremony, and it's a period where instead of just flowing along, there is something that we think of as a period of aging and completion of life that we can look forward to, look ahead to, and prepare for. And in my feeling, if you do that and are intentional about your aging period and have thought about it and created things for that purpose, it'll go better for you and for the people around you. And I'm not talking about the financial preparation or housing or whatever it might be. I'm talking about living our lives. What is my life going to be like? Instead of suddenly realizing I'm getting to be an old person, I'm ready for it. I've thought about it. So that's what Bar Matzevah is. It's a period of realizing that we're in transition, and also it can be an actual ceremony. And one thing about a Bar Matzevah is there are no rules. It's not a particular ceremony. It's not intended to be. The opposite. I feel, and I'll talk about my own feelings quite a bit, because that's where I'm coming from, is, okay, I've lived my life up to now, and I've followed a lot of rules and done a lot of the normal things. And part of a Bar Matzevah is being released from that. I'm not going to the aging period. Now is my opportunity to be me and run my life in ways that I haven't been able to do before. And I tie it to, just like Bar Mitzvah is at 13 years of age, I tie this, Bar Matzevah, to say, okay, there's the Jubilee year, 50 years, proclaim liberty. In other words, there's a release and renewal in the Jubilee year at 50 years. So if we take those 50 years and then say, okay, like a bar mitzvah, add 13 years onto it, it gets to 63. So I feel very comfortable in saying it's in the early 60s is the time when the bar matzevah takes place. But the whole process is completely individual. And I'll tell a little bit about the process I went through. but that's only as an example, and I certainly wouldn't want anybody to take it to be any kind of rule or guideline or anything like that. I will say that as a result of my process, I feel like I have a beacon in life. What I'm doing with myself, certainly now, and I feel comfortable and strongly. This is what I'm going to be with for the amount of time I have left. So what I went through is realizing, as I mentioned a moment ago, that time is going by. I'm not completely what I was before. Number one, being in environments where aging was present with the people who were there and the environments, and also feeling for myself, memory loss, some physical problems that I didn't have before. And okay, that's life. But it's what put on the map, so to speak, of my mind. Okay, something is happening. I'm getting to a new period in my life, and let me pay attention to that. So one of the things that came up again in my mind, in my guts, what I felt was, okay, I'm at this transition stage to this next stage of life. First there was youth, and then there was what I would call adulthood, and now the third stage is aging. So I'm getting into this point of aging, and it seemed like a time to reflect on the past in addition to looking to the future. Who am I? The questions I asked is, what have I brought into the world, and how is the world different from me having been here? I was sort of who am I? Where have I been? What I am? I kind of a thing. So I went through, it took several weeks to go through that, several weeks of all kinds of stuff, remembering things that happened. How did I feel about things? Events in life, the environment I had been in, how I reacted, how people reacted to me. And I went through and really gave it the time to think about, as best as I could, feelings-wise, what am I about? And so I went through, it took several weeks and a lot of feeling. I'm much more into feeling these days than thinking. So feeling about things that have gone on in my life. In the end, I came up with a 20-word summary of what do I bring into the world? What have I brought into the world? What do I bring into the world? And how is the world different for having done it? And it's not I actually called it my tombstone. It's not like I'm departing, but I referred to it as what would I want written on my tombstone? So it's very short. It's not a big history of Wally and stuff like that. But I came up with these 20 words, and I'll read them to you right now. I can't remember them because my memory isn't so good, so I keep them around in writing. But I'll just say, in the process, this whole Bar Matzevah process has been astonishing in the sense every step I've taken has led to a next step. And it's been actually in many ways thrilling. For example, after these few weeks that I came up with this summary of who I am, what I've done, what I've brought into the world, and how the world is different for it. I came up with that for a tombstone, and suddenly, in no time flat, it became my life stone. Wait a second, if I've just spent several weeks talking about or thinking and feeling who I am and what do I bring into the world, so that's what I want to guide me, to be my beacon for what I have going forward, to live according to what I've put the effort to feel about myself and what I'm bringing into the world. So before I read this, I just want to say, yeah, I thought of in terms of a summary of the past, something like that. But given what I'm in, it's now my life stone to have as I move into the aging process. So let me quickly say the 20 words. And as you can understand, as much time and effort I put in to come up with them, that wasn't a short and easy process, but here's the result. Who I am and what I've brought into the world is to feel situations I'm in and to bring my energies to make the situations richer for the people they touch. To feel situations. My thinking isn't there. So it's to feel situations I'm in and to bring my energies. It's about energies. This really, as I looked and looked and looked and felt, I realized how much energies play a role, and to bring good energy, basically to bring good energies into whatever I see. And when I say good energies, and since I wrote that, I paid a lot of attention to a lot of things in terms of energies. It's not hard to bring plenty of good energies day to day. I can be walking down the street and the gardeners are there, cleaning whatever yard and planting flowers, to stop and say, wow, that's beautiful. That's all. And they hear it and smile. That's bringing good energies into the world. As they're building a house, to watch the guy who's laying the bricks, my goodness, he doesn't plop the bricks down. He does it very steadily, very, very carefully. So I'll stop and say, wow, you're an artist. Because I feel that he's an artist, and I say, and so that's just saying that. That's what I mean by bringing good energies into the world. And it so happened, in addition to that 20-word line, it happened once that I did that in some situation. I was in a situation, and I said something to somebody. There was an expression of good energies, and that person knew some broadcaster on the radio, and the broadcaster broadcast for 1 minute and 43 seconds just to tell what had happened. So in addition to those 20 words, I used that 1 minute and 43-second broadcast as an example, a real hearable description of a case where that happened. But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. So now that's a basic driving thing. And of course, when I think about what is my period of aging now going to be like, there's a lot of questions. What kind of relationship do I want with my family? What do I want it to be like? How do I design it? And one of the things that really came up for me was, well, I want to be close to my kids, naturally. But really, I have a very strong feeling, and I feel it. I feel it now. I get joy now out of seeing my kids, each one building their life their way. That, wow, I often cry, so pardon me I'm watching my children, each one building their life in the direction they want. To me, that's satisfaction. So that's what I'm feeling now as I'm thinking about this whole aging period. I choose, and it's all choices, I choose not to be relating to my kids as somebody who's going to occupy my time or going to dedicate their life to helping me out, or I expect that. The guiding principle I have, because now, as part of the Bar Matzevah, I've thought about it. I've set that for one of the principles I want as I'm making my decision as much as possible going forward. And of course, I may change that choice, but I'm going into it with that choice. And I do that for all of the main things that are going on in life. and what I foresee in life during this aging period. So this is all about the Bar Matzevah, which says I've now reached the transition period from what I called adulthood to the aging period. It's looking at that period in a you could call it an organized way, like a bar mitzvah, and I'll do it my way. I don't believe in grandiose, so I do want to have a celebration of a certain kind, and I'm thinking, and I want to create something like this, some talking about what it's about, plus the celebrating. That's how I see my Bar Matzevah. It's coming along soon. I didn't catch it in the early 60s because the whole idea only came up, after that. But I realized that I've actually done much of what I'm putting together as a bar matzevah. I've been through this process. I'm talking not of some theoretical good idea that I think should be, because I see so many people who have not done it and what the effect is. I feel comfortable talking about it because I've done it. I did it without realizing that it's in the Bar Matzevah, but I put everything I'd done together plus added to it to come up with Bar Matzevah. So I want to not talk too much. I probably have talked way more than what I had intended to, but I hope this has given some feeling of what Bar Matzevah is all about, and what some of the things I've been through. And I appreciate your taking time to listen to this, what I think of as a practice session. And from this, I'll learn what will be useful and how to do this going forward. So thank you so much. May we all know good health and much joy in life, and recognize life does come to an end. Aging takes place. I have a shirt that says, I made up for myself, I'm dying. You ought to try it sometime. We're all dying. And we can ignore that. We can downplay it. We can pretend it's not happening. Aging and conclusion of life, completion of life. My feeling is it's much better to pay attention to it. I feel complete with what I'm doing here, and that's not by ignoring it. It's by taking it into my hands and moving it, guiding it in the direction that I want it to go. Best wishes to everybody. Thank you so much.